So 2.8 hours into running this machine, and we've gotten a bunch of sandy material pushed down, probably dug down about 2 feet, mainly using the dozer blade on it, and then cleaning up a little bit with the bucket. But as you can see here, we've got a bit of a problem. So I had a track tensioner failure. There was a weld missing on the track frame. So we had to take the track frame off. I've got it up in the garage so I can do some work on it. So I was just doing a little bit of a pre-job inspection and realized that the track on one side was really loose and a bit too tight on the other side. That's when I realized there was a problem with the tensioner. So to get the frame out, just disconnect the cylinder. There's these two bolts that go in that hold the track frame from sliding in and out. And we'll take a look inside the garage and how it all works. And to get this off of here, the nut was not tight, and the taper wasn't tight on the shaft either. The key is actually the only thing that was really holding that on. It's a bit too tight, and I might grind the key down so it can fit on the taper a bit better. Although that might make my life harder in the future, so I have to decide about that. There was no thread locker on the bolts holding the drive motor on, or holding in the part for the extendable suspension or chassis, whatever you want to call it. So they've only really used the thread locker in the engine bay from what I can tell. But everything has been tight. It's just not thread locked. I have not got to the swing motor yet, but you can see I've done quite a bit of pushing here, keeping away from the water. We don't want to get in any trouble with putting any debris in the water. This is all actually zebra mussels that get pushed up and then busted up by the waves. But like I said, we're not going to be going in the water with the machine. So we've got a ways to go. Still have to get some agreement from a couple of people to go a bit further with this. But we've got in front of 2 properties done. It's not a paying job. This is actually my place. And just trying to keep things under control. It's better to have a breakwater. The material here was pushed up into the yards, and then the waves are coming right up onto the property, which is not any good. Try not to damage any roots. And yeah, so we burned about a tank of fuel in 2.8 hours, but that's a lot of heavy pushing. There's pretty minimal digging, pretty minimal for idle time. It's just been a lot of pushing with the dozer blade. Haven't gone through the paint yet. It's actually, the paint's been surviving pretty good, and it's handy that I've got the dozer and just able to lift up the machine and pull off the track frame. That's pretty good. But yeah, we'll go in the garage, take a look at, see what we got to do in there next. So here's the track frame. Just got it up on a sawhorses here. So what happened was that the track frame, the idler pushes this way, and then the drive motor is over here, obviously. And this plate, they've only welded it on 2 of the 4 sides by accident. I checked the other side and it's completely welded in. So this side pushed out, and they just had like one little tack on this the bottom part here. So it would seem like the best solution to work on this was to bring it to the garage and flip it upside down, right? So you just trying to work upside down on the beach wasn't really going to work. And I need to get either a hydraulic jack or a porta-power in here and push that back. I'm hoping I can get that heated up and get it pushed back. And I think I can probably get a bolt in here, and I might make some kind of a plate to hold this part in position. And then I've got my welder here, but I don't have enough power to run that thing at full blast to weld this material, I don't believe. So that's kind of my predicament. I might need to set up something temporary to get enough power, which is something I was going to do later in the year. But yeah, so this part here would sit like this, and it nests into that equivalent shape, right? And pushes on the idler, which has a socket for here. So I gotta get this bent straight again. You can't turn this, it's getting bound up. And that was around a 32 millimeter. It wasn't a 33, but I was able to get it off with a 33. And I think that was a 17 or a 15 for the rest of the bolts. And what else was there? Not entirely sure what size that is. I'm just going to use the big plumber wrench to tighten it on, because it doesn't need to be overly tight. There was a cotter pin in it. I used a 12 millimeter for the two bolts that slot into the extendable undercarriage, and it's a 10 millimeter for the drive motor bolts. And yeah, the 33 is there. And I was going through my jumbo wrenches, and this friggin' thing is an oddball size. Like, it's not a 41. It's not a 46. So that's sort of annoying, whatever size that is. I wish they had kind of looked at what a normal jumbo wrench set would come with and tried to fit in with that. But they didn't, so we'll have to just get over it. What are you going to do? Can't complain, just have to resolve it. So I'm going to try to fit a jack in here and see if I can get that pushed back adequately so that I can bolt it and weld it into place. And then I'm going to have to heat this up and bend it back. I feel like I'm going to have to use the hitch on my truck to do that. I don't have a good vise installation right now. I've got a good vise, but it's not mounted to anything, so it doesn't really lend itself to being overly useful. I'll take a quick look at this track frame. So it's not terribly heavy. It's manageable. I just put it in the wheelbarrow and brought it back to the house. So you can see where the bolts slot into, and then on the other side slides next to it. So it's got a similar setup. It's just got the opposite of everything essentially. But it's super easy to work on. There's no bad threads or anything on it, which is good. I will put some Loctite on it when I put it back together. The rollers are not serviceable. They've got some kind of a dust cover on them. No part information on them. Presumably they'll come into a problem at some point and we'll have to do some maintenance on them. But no issues with them yet. Like I said, it's only got 2.8 hours on it, and mainly dozing. And it's unfortunate that they forgot to do a weld. Like, that's a bunch of work on me for what would have been a couple seconds for the worker, but so be it. And yeah, so we'll see how we get this thing jammed back together, and then I'm gonna try to get a day of pushing in tomorrow before the water level comes up, because then I'm going to be kind of shut down. It's the following day now. We got the plate pushed back into position. I didn't have a power pack to do this, so I just used a bottle jack. I did have to remove some parts from the jack to get it to fit, so I had to cut part of the foot off and cut the adjuster off. So this jack is just going to be junk after this operation. So getting the paint out of here is not going to be easy. I don't have a good tool to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use my torches here and try to burn off the paint. And then I'm going to lay a couple tacks in here, but I don't want to overfill this area because it does serve a purpose to retain the adjuster. I got to straighten that thing out still. But yeah, so it retains this, which is also bent a little bit. But these things all kind of need to be pretty straight in order to be able to thread the screw in and out and get a proper track adjustment. So yeah, I can't film any cutting torch work. So basically I'm going to try not to light my hoses on fire. And that's it, and just burn off the paint. And then this welder is only on a 15 amp circuit, so having the torch here to preheat the steel is going to help a lot, because I can't get my full output capacity on this machine here. But yeah, so we'll be doing a bit of welding later on. Well, unfortunately, with my welder cranked up all the way on just on 120 volts, I can't get enough heat to do the weld. So I'm just gonna get a bubble gum started, and then I can't carry the arc, it just starts sputtering. So I tried on another piece of steel here to see if I could even begin to be competitive with my welding here, and I'm not able to. So it's unfortunate that I'm gonna have to take this to a welding shop. So I'm just gonna bring them this and this, and I'll probably hit their minimum rate for an hour's labor. So I'll just bring them the two parts and get them to straighten them out for me and get that welded up, and I'll have this put back together as soon as they can take care of it for me. Just got the track frame back from the welder. They ended up welding the inside of the opening here all the way around, and that was good, but they didn't weld the other side, unfortunately, where it was the original problem. So you know, you can see that or not. So I ended up putting a little plate to just try to jam this in case it tries to move, because this inner plate here is actually like twice as thick as this brace. So we'll see what happens. I just wish they had done a bit more, but when I was talking to the owner, obviously the information didn't get quite conveyed to the workers where I dropped it off. But it was a good shop to deal with. I was happy with them. They charged me $100 to carry this through the shop, do the welding, and put it back on the truck, which is reasonable considering I had like 3 people kind of helping out here and there. So I can see where an hour labor could disappear pretty quick. So I'm okay with that. And I put in these 2 1/2-inch bolts that are kind of looking kind of funny, but that's sort of what I got to do, because I wanted to make sure I did a little bit more than just having this inner weld, because this plate being a bit thinner, like it is welded all the way around, but if this gets deformed, that's a bigger problem to try to fix that. You can see my jack here. It's oozing oil all over the place. It's not happy with what I did to it. But it did its job, so I'm happy with that. And that might be the end of it. I ended up having to straighten this bolt on my own. I don't know if it's cooled off now. It's not perfect, but when you spin it, I don't know if we can get a good reference line or not. It wobbles a little bit out of shape. I could taper it a little bit, but I'm hoping that it fits in the end of the tensioner wheel and does the job, because I ordered another one on Amazon and they kind of did me a disservice where they're kind of late on the delivery, and I want to get this thing going because we got a 4-day weekend. This is day 2 right now. The weather is good. We're gonna get like 2 inches of rain tonight, and then if that stops, I'm gonna get out. I can get a couple of days of working done. So that's sort of my goal here. Had the 3/4-inch impact gun to take this hitch apart, but yeah, I just put in the hitch and used a pipe to sort of straighten this, being careful not to lose the workings of the thread. Like, I can't get all the way to the end here, but my track is no longer new, so it should be stretched a little bit. And if I have a problem, I can lop it off here a little bit, and there'd be a lot of horsing around, but I can kind of get this thing back together today, and whatever looks like it's going to be good for a few hours of work anyway, is what I'm kind of predicting. And then I'll have my spring mission done with the machine, and I can put it away, and if I have to revisit this, I can. And I'll have a new adjuster bolt in my toolbox when it's time to change the tracks on this machine. I think it came with like 7-inch wide tracks. I gotta do some measuring. I saw one posting on Facebook where a guy was able to put in 9-inch tracks, and I kind of sink in where I'm working in the it's not really sand, but the zebra mussels, and it's not a big deal, but I'm kind of curious to see how it would perform with wider tracks, if I get any benefit from it. It would kind of increase the ground pressure, or decrease it by quite a bit, right? If you go from 7 inches wide to 9 inches, right? It's whatever that percentage is, might be a good 2 divided by 7 is the number we're talking about. It's like 15%, I guess. So I'm going to get these wheels back on, put a little bit of grease on this thing, and slide it back into the machine, and see if we can burn a tank of fuel there tonight. Track is back on with minimal grief. So basically, put the track frame back in, put the cylinder back onto it, slid in the adjuster, the idler pulley, and you have to tap this sprocket on and tighten this afterwards, because it's not strong enough of a nut to draw things together. So just tap away at it. Hopefully we don't do any damage to the drive motors. And then I just laid the track on with like 2 cogs kind of sticking up, and it pulled the track onto the in direction, no problem whatsoever. So I just have to go get a wrench to adjust my tension, and then I'll be back to the races here, although our 2 inches of rain is just starting now. So at least I can sleep good tonight knowing I got this thing back together. So hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully you don't have this problem happen to you, but if you do, getting the track frame off of here is easy. It's not a big deal. One thing I'm finding with this is that figuring out what the right hydraulic amount is kind of a mystery. I don't have it figured out yet. I'm feeling like it's got to be up pretty high, because when you're bulldozing downhill, you are running out of oil for whatever reason. And you would think that it wouldn't, but it does for whatever. So you need to have quite a bit of oil in here, because from what I remember, it's drawing it from this side. So I might relocate the pickup to the bottom fitting if that's possible. And I'm going to keep the oil up higher. Since I did the grease fitting video, I did add 2 more grease fittings. I put one here and one there. I couldn't drill through the bushings, so I ended up popping them out, and then I put them back in with the hole lined up so the grease would go through the grease bushing. And when I put this cover on, it ended up covering up this grease fitting here. So I'll have to cut that off with the grinder at some point to give myself access. And yeah, not a big deal to work on this. 1 or 2 person job. I'll bring my bar back to the house. I don't need that here anymore. And yeah, so hopefully you found that useful. Thank you for watching.